And this is for shipment 20. If you guys are wondering what comes in this package or this shipment, I did a complete unboxing video like I've done going back to shipment number 1. So I do an unboxing video showing you everything. We go through the magazines, and then I do a separate video of the build. And when it comes to the last video, the unboxing for shipment 20, there were audio issues, so I'd like to apologize for that. So let's get right into the build. I'm going to put the magazines on our Enterprise D. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll go right to the build section. This should be relatively easy. Let me move her forward so we can get to the part we need to work on. And we'll put this right here. And this is the circuit board. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get the circuit board. I think that's everything, yes. And we have a packet of AM screws. Okay, so what we need to do, as you can see on the bottoms, they have the jacks where we're actually going to plug in. And I do believe that that's going to go, where are the holes for that? And she's getting pretty large. I don't know if you guys can see, but right in here, there are the holes. And that's where the jacks are going to come out. So we're going to put it just like so. Remember, they're not going to protrude. They're not going to protrude through the bottom. So it's going to go just like that. So I'm going to put the screws in loosely at first, and then I'll tighten them up, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the bottom. So I got them in position. I don't want to over tighten them to the point where I want to damage the board, but I do want to make sure that they're going to be snug. All right, so that looks good. Let me show you guys. So this is what the circuit board looks like when it's in location. Now let me show you the bottom. See the jacks? So we'll be able to plug in the power supplies. Okay, so that's pretty short and sweet and right to the point. So that was 117. So we're gonna do 118 now. And we have the bulkheads, and it looks like we're going to put in the engine room. Nice. Okay. Make sure there's nothing else in there. Okay. So we're going to bring it down to where the engine room is going to go. It's going to go right here. And we're going to think about putting the propeller shafts through. Okay. Take the bulkheads and the hull assembly from the previous issue. Position the forward bulkhead at the end of the reciprocating engines, as indicated, so that the screw hole tabs line up. So what was screwing me up, guys, is that you see how these pieces are red? Well, on mine, they're not red. They're actually silver. So I thought that it had to go under the metal pieces, but that doesn't make sense because we have to put the rest of the hull on the bottom. All right. So this looks tentatively like it's going to be okay. So there are pins over here where the bulkhead is going to go. So that's going to be held in place, let's see, with NP screws. All right, let me find the NP screws. All right, now I'm going to tighten them up. I'll snug everything up into place. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. All right. So now we're going to have to do the same thing with the other one, and this one is going to go in front where the propeller shafts go in, and that's going to be held in place with AP screws. So let's actually, I'm going to put the propellers aside so nothing happens to them. Now this is going to be going into plastic, so we got to be a little more careful with that. And that's going to be held in place with 2 of the AP screws. So I'm going to bring this down a bit. But these are going into plastic, so we got to make sure that we absolutely do not strip this. Snug them up if they go. Okay, so that's good. So actually, it says completed work, so let me show you guys how just amazing that looks. You can see the turbine on the inside, forward towards the aft end, and you can see the 2 reciprocating engines. Oh, beautiful. You can see an aerial shot. Okay. And that was everything for issue number 118. So heading over to 119 now. And these, I think, are the other 2 supports. Yes. I'm going to put that with the other one. Okay, so now we got to take, it looks like these are going to go forward. All right. So we have these little slots. And what these are going to do is these are actually going to go onto the bulkhead walls. Just like that. Now I'm not sure if I should glue this. They're not specifically saying to glue it, but you can see the ceiling. Okay, so that's in place. What do we need to do with these? So now we're going to put the pins in. I'm wondering if that's just going to be a support. Can't really, well, you can kind of see them in the back. Okay. Is that everything? Yeah, that was the completed work for 19. Go over to 20 now. So it's going to go right in front of the bulkhead that we put in. So, all right. We're going to start by doing the sides. These are going to go into place like so. Just like that. Everything is going to be held in place with the AM screws, and I think that's all we have are AM screws. Okay, so. All right. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to snug it up. There we are. So now we got to do the same thing for this side. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do, it'll be easier. So I got to turn her back around and I'll do it that way. So we're going to take our AM screw, and this is going to go right up on this side, just like that. There we are. Okay, so that's all set. I think what we got to do now, there we are. All right, now we're going to snug them all up. Not to the point of stripping them, but I want to make sure that they're in place. So that looks good. So now we're going to put this one together. Again, they're going to be AM screws, and we're going to actually form the T now. You can see where it's got the little areas for the screws. And this is actually going to be the T that they're talking about. We had to take it out of a different location. All right, let's put this in. All right, and this is going to go back in, and it's going to be facing away from the supports, so it's looking like this is going to go this way, just like that. Yeah, because it's going towards a little winch for the anchors. All right, so we need to put the AM screws back in. All right, now I'm going to snug these up. There we are. Okay, now we're going to put the bracket back into the back where the bulkhead for the engine room is. It should be sayonara to this one, 120. So looking at the completed work, we got the brackets in and we put the support in for the bow. All right, let's go to 121 now. I think now we're going to start to do the, yeah. We got some of the, I think that's the docking port. Okay. All right. First thing we got to do is we got to put the wood onto here. So, like I've been doing, I want to put a little bit of the glue. Just a little bit. Got to be really careful when we take this off because it's so small. All right. So we're going to line them up with the holes. All right, so you see we got the wooden deck on, and now we have to put these tiny little things. Let's see, we got a wheel that's going to go on the platform, and I got to be careful not to lose any of this stuff. So the wheel, man, this is small. Okay, so there's a little tiny little thing that the wheel is going to go onto. So what I'm going to do is I want to put a little bit of glue, ever so slightly, just a tiny bit right on the edge. And that's where the wheel is going to go on. Now I got to put it on the center of the wheel. Alright, I got to give that a second to dry. So while that's drying, that's going to go in the middle. So I think what we'll do is we'll put on the pieces. So I'm going to put a drop right in the other spots. Okay, now these things have the circles, so they've got to be facing each other. So let's put this one in first. Oh, that's what we got so far. All right. There's another piece. Now this is going to go in the front of the wheel. Maybe I should put the wheel in first. Let's see if the glue is going to be dry. And lastly, we've got this piece that's going to go into the back. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's really small. All right, that looks good. Those little tiny little pieces are in. All right. Now we got to put that aside, and we need to do the boat deck now. Oh wait, so we have that out. Is that it? Is that all we had to do? Looks like we got to take the promenade deck now. So I still didn't glue on. I'm going to do that because I'm going to do the painting of the aft grand staircase, and then we're going to glue the top on. Kind of like we did for the front. All right, let me put this aside for a minute. I'm gonna be very careful with this. Okay. And it looks like now, you remember we did the cranes. I think now we got to put the mast on. So let me bring her around. We'll do it this way. The mast is going to lean, it's going to angle backwards. So, let me see if it's going to go just like that. That's going to be held in place with an IM screw. Yeah. Look at that. She's starting to take form. Okay. Alright, so we did that now. Let's see what else we gotta do. With the promenade deck positioned so that you can access the underside, take the cable removed in step 4. Both ends of the cable are marked with a Z. You guys remember, this is the one that we took out. And these are marked with a Z. Fit one end into the socket J1 and one in the LED strip 75C. Run the other end through the square hole outlined in blue. Just like that. You can hear it kind of snap into place. Okay, now this end, what do we got to do? We got to put it through the opening. Okay, just like that. We got to feed it through. Just like that. Then we take the extension cable and connect the end marked Z. At the end of the cable, put into the light strip and insert it into G1. So it looks like we got to do this one. I just had that cable. Here it is. So this is marked G1. See how this is a female? And this, let me move the deck. So this is going to go just like this. And now what we got to do is we got to put that into the power supply, and everything should light up. All right, so take this cable out. All right, here's the moment of truth, my friends. Let's put this in. And hopefully you guys can see everything lights up. So that looks nice. Let me put the light out. Isn't that cool? Okay, so that looks good. Position of 5 strips of adhesives so they show the outline of the green holding everything in place. All right, so let's get the adhesive strips. All right, and the last one will go right here. Okay, so that looks good. So now we're going to go to the bridge deck. We're going to do the same thing. So this is going to go in like this. All right, let me lean it up against the box, and we're going to plug it in for the moment of truth. There we go. Everything looks good. Let me shut the light. So that's working. All right, so that looks good. And I guess that was the completed work. And it looks like we're going to put on, this is going to go down into this opening. Just like so. And now we can think about putting it down. It looks like I'll run the cable through the hole, fit the promenade deck to the bridge deck. I'll make sure all the pegs fit into the corresponding holes. So when it comes to the front, there are little pins or little slots in the bulkhead that go down to the deck below, just to make sure you're getting everything in the right position. And when you look through the promenade openings, you can see that. So that looks really cool. So what do we got to do with this? I think, all right, it's fit into place. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We got to put in 13 AP screws now. So that looks good. We got all of the screws in place. All right. When you are happy with the fit of the promenade deck and the bridge deck, identify the 13 screw holes in the underside of the bridge deck, circled in red. All right, we're going to use the 13 screws. We're going to make sure it's fully secured. Okay, now we're going to flip it over and we're going to use more of the those adhesives. There. All right, that's done. All right, so what do we got to do now? It looks like we got to pass everything through. We got to put it through the promenade deck. You know what it is? Okay, these are the smokestacks. All right, these are for the smokestacks. Okay, and the wire coming up is going to go to J3. So this one is going to go on to J3 like this. Just like that. All right. So the wires for the smokestacks, we're going to put that in through this section, and this one is going to go over here. We got a lot of screws to put on now for the bottom deck. They also have little guide pins. Okay, so we got all the screws in on the bottom. And look at that. Let me see if I can actually do a cruise by. Get the bridge. You see the promenade deck going back to the aft end, all the way to the second class entrance and the anchor, the cargo cranes. All right. So what else do we got to do? Let me see. So now we do the fun part. Let's see, we're gonna put the power on. Let me put the overhead light out. So we got the lighting on the bottom, on B deck. You can see the lights in the promenade. Hopefully you can see the smokestack lights all the way back, again to the second class entrance. You can see the smokestack lighting is all there. So that's pretty cool. When I'm done, I'll take you off the tripod and I'll do a little pan. But let me put the light back on because I need the light. And put this one back on as well. We'll disconnect the power. All right, let's see what else is. So now we got to put the deck on. So we're going to carefully peel it. And now we got to put it on, and I want to line it up. Look at that. It looks like on camera that there are air bubbles, but there are no air bubbles. It's just different coloration of the wood. You can see all the holes are lined up. All right, so now what do we have to do? So now we got to test the lighting strip. You can see that's working very well. All right, so what do we need to do with this now? So this is going to go underneath. You can see the little clamps. So it kind of clicks into place. And let's push it back so it's flush. There. There's like a little opening specifically designed for the LED strip. So that looks good. And that is the completed work. And that is issue number 122. So the next shipment is going to have issues 123, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 128. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this onto the hull, and I'm going to show you guys. So hopefully you can see the lights now. The portholes on the hull are lit up slightly. Remember, because it's going to be in scale, so it's not going to be really bright. Go up to the top, going towards the second class entrance. I would think that this is where the compass platform is going to go. But she's starting to come together, my friends. So I'm looking forward to the next shipment. That will be shipment 21. That'll be my next video. I'm very much looking forward to that. So my friends, thank you so much for watching. And until my next video, shipment 21, I'll talk to you guys soon.